once upon a time, if you talked about the weather, it was really an indicator that you were kind of socially challenged, that you're one of those people that really didn't know what to say in a social setting. And so by talking about the weather, it was your kind of way of saying, hi, I'm really dull. And if the person said, yeah, isn't it hot? It was basically their way of saying, yeah, I'm really dull too, thanks for asking. And this is how people communicated with each other for a long time, because the weather was ostensibly boring, and it's what you talked about. If you had no intention of ever saying anything to anyone about anything at all and just playing it safe, the weather was safe. Until now, like thanks to climate change and global warming, the weather has become an exciting and volatile hot topic. I mean, it's no longer safe. In the old days, the closest you'd get to knowing anything about the weather was the little weather person, usually a weatherman with a stick, pointing at a map of Australia with weird little squiggly lines drawn on it, and it was taken so not seriously. Everyone put shit on him constantly from the news team, and he put shit on himself with lame jokes, because clearly he got 3 minutes at the end and his job wasn't real. Now the whole thing's reversed. The weather actually is the news, because it's kind of like these full-on, and they're not just storms, they're weather events, and news people will go and cover the event in some sort of weird way with their little raincoats on, waiting for something awful to happen to someone, because we're kind of hooked on that. We can't stop watching, you know, these sort of terrible events. You know, we're horrified by what happens in a cyclone afterwards, but we just want to watch it again and again on replay. Can I see that tree come down on that house? Look at that log go through that door. I mean, it's this weird kind of thing of like watching God's special effects or something. It is that kind of, I don't know, it's kind of creepy, I guess, and it's kind of strange that weather has become so exciting. I mean, it's even more exciting than Hollywood films. People are sort of absolutely hooked and riveted to the weather. Like Hollywood films, you know what's going to happen. There's a character arc and a formula that gets paid off in the end. But with the weather, you know, it's unpredictable. You just don't know what's going to happen. Now, thanks to technology, everyone can become a weather person, trying to be non-sexist. Weather man sounds better. A weather woman just sounds weird. I don't want to be a weather cock. You know, I don't know, maybe I'm a weather cock. But anyway, you do want to have, like, you know, thanks to, like, on the internet, you know, and you have this kind of, you know, the bomb site. And my husband's on the bomb site all the time. And for a minute, don't think he's like some sort of weird suburban terrorist, you know, looking up weird sort of ways on terrorist sites to make incendiary devices. He's not. The bomb site is the Bureau of Meteorology site, which shows cloud patterns and formations moving in with coloured codes, so you can tell if there's weather coming to you. And now, thanks to my darling husband, I no longer have to really know what's going on. Like, he can put, you know, forward plan weather events that are coming. Like, if I need to take the washing off the line, like close the windows or mow the lawn, it will all be actually, you know, we'll know when to do it thanks to the weather site. One night I was lying in bed, because he's just hooked. He's on it all the time. He's always on it, like looking at clouds, and he's become quite, like, they've become quite, you know, important in our life for actually knowing what happens at any time with the weather. As soon as there's like a grey cloud in the sky, he's straight on it, checking out what we should be ready for. Just recently I was lying in bed and there was this big storm. And I could tell it was a storm because it was noisy and it was raining and it was windy, you know. And he got us set up in the middle of the night and he's on the side, you know, in bed on the computer. And I went, oh my God, what's going on? He says, don't be alarmed. If at some point the roof blows off, we'll just go downstairs. And then he kind of turned it off and went to sleep. And I went, what are you talking about? If the roof blows off? I had like a panic attack. Hear those birds? Apparently they mean rain. That's the old bomb site. Nature's kind of strange signs. You've got to count the birds for how many days of rain. I think they've been very threatened, the cockatoos, by the invention of the Bureau of Meteorology site, and they tend to be competing with it. But okay, I just went to bed and I couldn't sleep, knowing that the roof could blow off. So I went downstairs and slept downstairs, and later I realised it was probably John's way of actually getting me out of the bed so he could have the whole bed to himself. Anyway, the roof didn't blow off. And the other day, it was raining and windy, and I said, quick, can you give me a hand to bring the stuff in? And John said, he was looking at the website, and he said, oh no, it doesn't look like there's any rain. I said, well, it's actually outside and it's raining and it's wind and stuff blowing around. And he goes, that's weird, because it's not on the actual site. And I went, well, look at the World Wide Web in the sky, the actual sky. That will tell you that it wasn't coloured the right colours to actually coincide. Anyway, it's kind of interesting, isn't it, how weather has become the new porn. Look at that. Him and his little dog looking at his weather maps. Sit there for hours, waiting for doom. You know, it's quite exciting. Somewhere, someone's getting slammed. We just want to know who. How's it going there, love?
Into stormy weather, I think.